Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you have been following along for a little while, then you know that last November I actually passed the CHT exam. If you've taken the exam before, you know how super exciting that is. And you can always go back through. I actually have a little playlist called The Road to CHT, or kind of a little vlog series that I did over the course of the last year when I was studying for the exam. So feel free to check out any of those videos. Today, I wanted to bring you guys a one-stop shop, I guess, basically, and just kind of telling you everything that I did to prepare for the exam. So basically my secrets to success when preparing to pass the CHT exam. So I've been wanting to make this video for a little while. I just kind of needed a period of time to recover from the trauma of taking the exam. So now it's, 3 months later, whatever, we're finally recovered. So let's do this. So before we get into this video today, I do want to say a little disclaimer. So basically everything that I'm going to share with you today was things that I did to prepare for the exam. They are definitely not all inclusive. There are tons of resources out there, tons of different ways that you can prepare for the exam, and you don't have to do everything that I did. You could also do more than I did. Everybody is different. So the other thing I want to say too is this video is not sponsored, so I'm going to be sharing the resources that I personally used. Everything here is something that I full-heartedly believe in and believe that helped me. So I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way. We're all different and everybody has different needs and different ways that they study best. So I'm just going to share with you kind of the recipe for my success and everything that I did to prepare and everything that led me to pass the exam. So yeah. Okay, so the first step in getting ready for the exam for me happened in February last year. So we're almost a year out now. Woohoo! I went to the 3-day ASTS hand review course. This is the course manual from that. That class was 3 full days. I actually went to the one in Irvine, California, because it was just the closest to where I live, which was super nice, by the way. Irvine is a really kind of a pretty fun little town to visit. I would highly recommend this course. When I took it, I hadn't studied at all for the exam other than just, basic studying that I do to kind of provide care for my patients. And it was super overwhelming. I went with 2 of my really good hand therapy friends and we stayed in an Airbnb together. We went to the class during the day. It was super overwhelming and crazy. And then at nighttime we would go get junk food and fast food and cakes and stuff and just pity eat our way through the night while we watched true crime kind of Netflix shows and stuff. It was actually a really fun time, but the class was definitely intense. For me, it really helped kind of light a fire under me. I was able to realize that there's a lot that I needed to learn, and it helped me kind of, I guess, start. You have to start somewhere, right? So you may as well get kind of oh crap, maybe I need to start preparing for this. The manual actually was also super helpful for me. So I actually used it to kind of guide my studies and kind of the outline of my studies. So that was definitely helpful. I would kind of go through this manual page by page and I would review all of the topics in it, make sure I knew everything in the book. And if there was something that I wanted more information on, then I would kind of go and do my own research in some of the other texts that I'll talk about in a minute. But it definitely helped me organize as I was studying. So I used it obviously during the class, but I actually used it a lot while I was studying for the exam too. And I know a lot of people actually prefer to go to the ASTS review class after they've been studying for a while so that it's truly a review for them. I think it would work that way for sure. It probably would definitely be beneficial. But I don't think it's not beneficial to go before you started studying. Like for me, it was still really helpful. Definitely worth it. I was lucky that my work actually paid for me to go. But I would definitely, you know, if you're supporting yourself, I would definitely think about putting up the money for it essentially, and just, you know, kind of think about it. And for me, I just felt like it was really helpful. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but if you're looking for just like a quick kind of pretty boot campy style class, and you want kind of like an organizational text to help you guide the way that you study, then ASHT review course was really awesome. I highly recommend it. Okay, and then fast forwards to July last year, because I procrastinated a lot after the ASHT exam. Things got busy, and you know, I was kind of like, I'm not gonna be eligible for the exam until November. Like, I don't need to start yet. So July, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start studying some anatomy. I felt like I needed to really review. And because anatomy for me is such a memorization type of thing, like it's just impossible to kind of learn the origin, insertion, action, innervation for every muscle of the whole upper extremity without just memorizing it for me. So I knew I had a lot to review there. So I use this book. I actually have used the Nutter's Atlas. Sorry, horrible glare. I've actually used this since my undergrad anatomy, and I purchased this textbook. It was like the only textbook in my undergrad that I actually bought, and I will never ever get rid of it. Like, I love this book so much. It just helps to have a visual so that you can kind of learn the memorization portion while you picture the actual muscles. That's really helpful for me. I'm definitely a visual learner, so I would definitely look into this book. It's also, you know, expensive, but if you have it laying around, or just any anatomy textbook where it has like really good illustrations, I honestly think that's a big asset, because, you know, you can kind of see like how detailed these pictures are. It'll just really help you visualize what you're thinking about, and you can kind of use it to guide your studies along the way. I also actually made Quizlet quizzes for myself, so it's a really good resource for you if you have any topics that you're trying to study and memorize. So you make your own flashcards online, and then you can access them on any computer or your phone. So for me, that was really helpful because in between patients at work, or if I was waiting at the doctor's office, or anything that I had to do that I had a little bit of time, I would just be going through my Quizlet flashcards. The way that I decided to organize it was kind of dividing each component of the body into a separate quiz. So I did like muscles of the shoulder, muscles of the upper arm, then I did kind of the forearm, hand. I actually did a little bit with the brachial plexus too. And I actually used some other people's quizzes too. So I made my own sets for the anatomy of the muscles, but I actually used other people's sets that were created already for like bony landmarks or brachial plexus quizzes, stuff like that. So there's a lot of good quizzes that are already out there. Make sure that you get one that you trust so that, you know, you're not studying the wrong thing. But that was really helpful for me too, is just doing Quizlet to memorize all of the anatomy. I actually found YouTube was a really helpful resource as well. So I found a video on how to draw the brachial plexus really quickly, because I knew that I needed to spend a lot of time learning that and kind of tracing it through the whole body. And then, you know, things like the extensor mechanism of the hand, some things that were kind of tricky. I felt like I needed somebody to explain it to me. So YouTube is a great resource too. You can find a lot of really great anatomy based videos on there. So those are kind of the main anatomy resources that I used. Okay, and the next resource that I want to talk about is a 2-volume set of textbooks. It's Rehab of the Hand. So this is another really great resource. Again, I'm really glad I bought it. I actually thought I was going to read it like cover to cover. I don't know why I thought that was possible. It's pretty boring to do that. But if you have enough time and you love reading, then by all means, go for it. Like, it's actually a phenomenal resource. I wish I had bought it, you know, when I first started hand therapy. I think that would have been really helpful for me. But it's a 2-volume set. These textbooks are just ginormous. They're so heavy. But it's a really great resource. They have tons of chapters. And it's not super complicated, so it's not like something that you can't understand. Like, it's actually very helpful. And so I started reading this as if I was going to read it cover to cover, which obviously I did not. Maybe someday we'll see. And then I kind of got into a time crunch period of like, okay, I'm going to just refer back to it when I find stuff that I don't know. Because there's a lot of things that you've never treated, you know, like I've never really had much experience with skin grafts or, you know, congenital hand deformities and stuff like that. So for me, this was a really super helpful resource, and I would definitely recommend it. It's a little bit pricey. So I totally understand. I mean, all of this is truly an investment. Like, I spent a lot of money investing in myself and investing in the exam, and just being prepared for the exam. So I do understand, like, it's kind of sucks that it costs so much money. I think these books are like $400, I want to say. I'll find the link for you guys. But I'm going to keep these forever. Like, I will continue to refer back to them whenever I need to. So for me, it was definitely worth it to invest, but you may be able to find some other books that you like too that maybe aren't as expensive. For me, it felt really worth it, so I would definitely recommend those books too. Yeah. Okay, and then we've got of course, the holy grail of the certified hand therapy exam, the purple book. This one that I used, that I purchased, was the 3rd edition. So when I purchased the book, I want to say it was like December of 2018, and then they released the 4th edition in like January, I think. So that was kind of a bummer, but it honestly was fine. Like, genuinely, an old edition of the book will work. Obviously, the 4th edition has more questions. I was actually really lucky that one of my coworkers owns the 4th edition, and she let me borrow it for a couple weeks, just to kind of go through it. And so there are a couple of different chapters in it and a few extra questions, but the bulk of the book is the same. So it's okay if you have an older edition. Don't worry, you don't have to get the brand new edition. But it definitely helps. You know, the newer editions are obviously a little bit more current, so you know, get the newer-ish version. But if you can get the 3rd one, that's fine too. You'll be fine. This is like 500 pages of just pure multiple choice questions. So it's a little bit daunting, definitely. I think I started to do this book in probably August, late August, maybe early September. And I went through it. I think this edition, I think I went through 2 or 3 times, and then the 4th edition I went through once, so probably about 4 times total, which sounds totally insane, but honestly, like, I was spending towards the end of October, I was spending like every waking hour studying, so I could get through it pretty quick. I had some slow days at work, which helped. I was able to bring it with me to work. It kind of went with me everywhere. But this really, genuinely, the purple book helped so much. If there's one resource that you are able to get to prepare yourself, this is the one for sure. It helps you practice taking information and kind of practice going through multiple choice questions, because that's exactly what your exam is going to look like, right? Obviously, it's on a computer rather than a book, but just practice going through questions. You can time yourself. You know, when you have a question about something, you could read more about it. So there were questions in here that I had no idea about. So then I would go back to my Rehab of the Hand, and I would look up the chapter, and I would do some reading, and then I would go back to the purple book and see if I could answer the questions in that section. So it definitely helped so much. I even took it on vacation with me when I went to Pismo Beach in October, like early October last year. I brought it with me, and I was trying to study just a little bit while I was on vacation too. This is definitely what you need for sure. I don't think I would recommend anyone to take the exam without this book. That's just my point of view. Obviously, I'm not, not telling you can't do it, but I just would not recommend it. I think it was really helpful. It also has like a multiple choice question test in the back of the book, so you get even more questions with that, and you can kind of practice timing yourself so that you get the pacing correct. This helped me so much with everything. The purple book is just essential for sure. And then the other thing that I actually did, because I'm a crazy person, I had certain topics that I knew I was going to have a hard time remembering, or different facts that I knew I was going to have a hard time remembering. So I actually just got like a little spiral notebook, and I made notes for myself, and I tried to make it like really pretty so I would want to look at it. But just the things that I thought would be really hard for me to remember. So I don't know if you can really see this very well, but I just had different pages where I would dedicate to different topics. And then I actually brought this with me the day that I took the test. I drove there really early, and I sat in my car and I looked through my notes one more time, just so that I kind of had confidence, I guess. But that helped me a lot too. So those are all of the resources, courses, reference materials that I used when I was preparing for the CHT. I hope that is helpful. Obviously, I'm going to link everything that I talked about today below, and I hope that you guys will find that useful in any way. If there were any materials that you feel like I missed, or things that you used to pass the CHT or study for the CHT that I didn't talk about, please feel free to comment below. I'm always happy to hear your feedback, and I'm always looking for obviously good hand therapy resources anyway, and anything that could be helpful to someone who's preparing for the exam would be so awesome. If you guys want to share that information. Before I finish up the video today, I just want to give you kind of my like quick tips for success. The first thing is you need to give yourself enough time. Okay, this is not something that you should try to cram a month before the exam, right? I mean, I started thinking about it and taking an interest in preparing for the test, probably 8 months before I actually took the exam. I started truly studying for the exam probably about 4 months out, something like that. And as we got closer and closer to the exam, I obviously spent a lot more time on it, but just give yourself enough time. It's not something that you can learn very quickly. So give yourself enough months and make sure that you don't have too many scheduling conflicts going on. My second quick tip is commit yourself to it 100%. It is a huge investment in time. It is a huge investment in money and your finances. So just make sure that you are in it 100%. Don't sign up for a bunch of, classes or hobbies or, those kinds of things while you're preparing for the exam, because it will end up taking up a lot of your time. By the end of my studying period, I was spending probably at least 2 to 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then on the weekends obviously a little bit longer, like maybe 4 or 5 something hours. So it's a huge amount of time. So just try not to overwhelm yourself with a lot of other activities and stuff, commitments that you have to do. My third tip was, for me, it was really helpful to solidify your anatomy first before you start diving into any of the more advanced topics. If you have a really good understanding of your anatomy, everything is going to seem much easier. So that's what I would recommend. And then my fourth tip is just believe in yourself. It can be quite a soul-sucking, traumatic experience. And you know, you just need to know and have confidence in yourself that you can do it. If you can put your mind to it, you can do anything that you want to do. And just, you know, truly believe in yourself and give it your best shot. All you can do is your best. So just put yourself in there, do anything that you want to do if you try. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and like it if you enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to continue to follow Forward Therapy and get all of this wonderful hand therapy community together. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.